Hello students and welcome to your history class. Today we are going to discuss about the Delhi Sultanate and our topic is the Khalji dynasty. So let us begin. Jalaluddin Khalji was the founder of the Khalji dynasty. Before his ascension to throne, he was known as Malik Firoz. He and his brother Shihabuddin, who was father of Alauddin Khalji, who will become the next Sultan of Delhi after Jalaluddin Khalji. So both of them served Delhi Sultan Balban for several years. After Balban's death, the nobles enthroned his teenage grandson Kekabad on throne. Kekabad's health deteriorated after some time as there was attack of paralysis on his body, and nobles enthroned his infant son Kayamars on the throne with the title of Shamsuddin II. Kaikabad died on February 1290 CE as he was murdered on the orders of Jalaluddin Khalji, and he was murdered by an officer whose father was executed by Kakabad. Khayamar's titular reign lasted around 3 months before he was deposed by Jalaluddin Khalji. Now Jalaluddin Khalji is sitting on the throne, and he sat on the throne in 1290 CE and he ruled up to 1296 CE. Now what happened in 1294? In CE 1294, Alauddin defeated Yadavas of Devagiri and returned to Kada, as Alauddin was governor of Kada under the rule of Jalaluddin Khalji, and this Kada is in Uttar Pradesh. So Alauddin defeated Yadavas of Devagiri and returned to Kada with huge amount of gold and precious articles. Jalaluddin wants to congratulate his nephew, but his nephew Alauddin killed him. When Jalaluddin visited him at Kada, Alauddin raised the royal canopy, Shahi Taj, and proclaimed himself the new Sultan. Jalaluddin's head was put on a spear and paraded across Alauddin's province of Kada, Manikpur and Awadh. Now here you can see two pictures also. First picture is of Kamala Devi and the next is Malik Kafur. Now we will discuss about them. Who were they? So Alauddin Khalji, the nephew and son-in-law of Jalaluddin Khalji. Now Alauddin Khalji was nephew also and son-in-law also of Jalaluddin Khalji, as Jalaluddin Khalji's daughter Malika Jahan was married to Alauddin Khalji. So Alauddin Khalji came to throne in CE 1296 after murdering his uncle in the month of July. Now we will discuss about the conquests of Alauddin. So the first conquest of Alauddin Khalji was on Gujarat. Now why this attack was there? Because somebody told him that the wife of King Karandev of Gujarat is so beautiful. Because of his wife, the name of his wife was Kamala Devi. So because of Kamala Devi, Alauddin Khalji has attacked on Gujarat. Now Alauddin sent an expedition under the generals Ulugh Khan. Ulugh Khan is brother of Alauddin Khalji. His real name is Almag Beg, and Nasrat Khan to conquer Gujarat. They defeated King Karandev, they plundered the state, and they also killed Karandev and returned with rich booty of the war. They also brought with them Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur is a slave which they have bought for 1,000 dinars from the port of Cambay, where slave market is over there. Because he was being bought for 1,000 dinars, a name was given to this person, Hazar Dinari. Malik Kafur became one of the Alauddin's trusted generals. He conquered the War Samudra and Madurai for Alauddin Khalji. The next, and moreover, this Malik Kafur is eunuch. ये किन्नर था. The second conquest is of Rajasthan. Alauddin had a long history of expeditions in the Rajput states. In CE 1301, he captured the fort of Ranthambore. In CE 1303, he captured Chittorgarh. Alauddin also overran Jalar. Almost all the states in Rajasthan were forced to submit to him. But he did not annex these Rajput states. The Rajput kings were ruling over there, but they have to pay an annual tribute or tax to Alauddin Khalji. He conquered Malwa and also annexed it by bringing it under the direct control of the dynasty, Khalji dynasty. By CE 1305, he became the master of northern India by conquering Ujjain, Dhar, Mandu and Chanderi. Now let us discuss about the third conquest, that is the conquest of Deccan and South India in the year of 1306 to 1311 CE. Alauddin's general Malik Kafur defeated Yadavas of Devagiri, Hosalas of Dawar Samudra, Kakatiyas of Warangal and Pandyas of Madurai. However, he did not annex these kingdoms, but realized annual tributes from them. They are taking the tax. Now let us discuss about the administration of Alauddin Khalji. So he was an able and efficient administrator. With the study of the past, he has thoroughly studied the past of his time. He concluded that all the revolts which has taken place in the past or that happened in the past were because of the nobles. So he initiated reforms for keeping control over these nobles. Now what were these reforms? The gifts given to nobles in the form of land and property were taken back. Marriage, parties and drinking of wine in public was prohibited for nobles. An efficient spy system, jasusi system, was organized for nobles. Heavy taxes were levied on nobles to confiscate their properties. Now, in order to maintain a strong army, Alauddin geared up his revenue system. In some areas like Ganga Yamuna Doab, which is a very fertile land, tax was raised to 50% or one half of the total produce. And grains were stored in the government granaries. Alauddin introduced system of chehra for soldiers and dag or branding of horses. These were the identification tools. Now let us discuss about them. What were they? ID cards or chehra for soldiers. So chehra means ID cards only. On these ID cards, name of the soldier, his full address and in which unit of army he is working was written. His picture was painted, and if that person is having any special mark on his body, that mark was also mentioned on these ID cards. Now why it is so? Why they are doing so? So that intruders or spies from outside, they can't enter into the royal palace, and if anyone was caught without ID card, that person was severely punished. Now next is branding of the horses. Branding of the horses with the royal stamp. Now the royal stamp was embedded on the bodies of horses, as you can see in the picture. First of all, the stamp is put into fire. When it will become red hot, then it is embedded on the body of the horse. It is done because the nobles at that time used to exchange the thoroughbred which is brought from Central Asia and which is very expensive with ordinary breed which is very cheap. Rest of the money they will put into their pockets. Now after branding, if any trader was found with horses which are having royal stamp on their bodies was severely punished. That trader will be punished and that noble from whom he has purchased the horses will also be punished. So these were the two identification tools that were being introduced by Alauddin Khilji. Economic reforms. In order to meet the military expenses of a huge army, Alauddin undertook various economic reforms. He took steps to control the prices, he supervised the market, he fixed the prices of the essential goods. Officers were appointed to keep a check on the prices. Now how he has done so? Alauddin controlled the prices and supervised the market. First of all, he had fixed the prices of essential goods like food, clothes, shelter. And now how he had controlled the market? First of all, fixing the prices and then controlling the market. Suppose that price of food grain had increased. Now why the price will increase? Price will increase because quantity or amount of food grains is less in the market. Thus, demand for food grains will increase. And it is a principle of economics that if demand increases of a particular commodity which is less in the market, then its price will also increase. Now, Alauddin had controlled this situation. When he has seen that prices are going to be increased, he started sending food grains from government granaries. And it is also a principle of economics that if supply of a particular good or commodity is increased in the market, then its demand decreases. And if demand decreases, its price also decreases. Thus, Alauddin controlled the prices and supervised the markets. Now, third point you can see, officers were appointed to keep a check on the prices. Due to strict checking on the shopkeepers, there was no cheating with weights, and whoever was found charging beyond the price limit was punished severely. Thus, traders could not overprice their goods. Now let us take the art and architecture. The first picture you can see it over there. The picture of Amir Khusro. Amir Khusro was born in CE 1253 in Uttar Pradesh. He was a great Persian poet. He knew Sanskrit also. He was a great musician, and during medieval period he has introduced or he has invented sitar, sarangi, tabla, rabab, qawwali and ghazal also. So he was a great poet. Next is Amir Hassan. He was a great Persian poet. Next you can see Alai Darwaza. It is the southern gateway to the mosque of Quwwat ul Islam. It was being made by Alauddin Khilji. You can see the domes and arches over there being made in the Turkic style. Then Hauz Khas is over there. This is the Hauz Khas complex and it's meant for bathing, and only royal families can take bath over here in Hauz Khas. One more building is over there, not mentioned over here. That is Alai Minar, being built by Alauddin Khilji. The height of Alai Minar is 24.5 meters And Alauddin tries to make this minar twice longer than Qutub Minar. But this building is unfinished building. Before the completion of this building, there was death of Alauddin Khalji. Alauddin was undoubtedly a great conqueror and an efficient administrator. He was a man of determination. His chief aim was the welfare and protection of his subjects. The reforms which he had undertaken show his progressive attitude. He was a religious man, but he did not let religion to interfere in the affairs of the state. So he was a great ruler. So with this, we have finished with Khalji dynasty. In our next video, we will take the case study of the Tughlaqs. Thank you.